So I work for a company called TerraPass, and we're based here in San Francisco, and I am a director here.
I'm at the Graduate School of Oceanography. My primary responsibilities are graduate education and oceanographic research.
We capture carbon and store it in the atmosphere. And I use all my reservoir engineering and geological engineering background to solve a problem related to climate change and energy.
I'm doing research looking at global patterns in agricultural water use.
I'm currently Director of Development for a publicly traded company called First Solar. They produce thin film solar panels.
So I'm currently a senior scientist at SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory.
I recently started as the Executive Director of the United in Diversity Creative Campus, which is funded by a foundation in Indonesia to start a vocational training campus in Jakarta and Bali.
We are a for-profit but mission-driven company. So for-profit, but we have other sort of sustainability aims in what we work on a day-to-day basis.
You know, just really sort of being on the ground, literally, with how to make climate change work, right? So doing emission reductions and most recently implementing renewable energy projects, really, really big ones for corporations, which is great work.
And we're looking at cycling of contaminants and nutrients in natural waters, especially groundwaters, to understand how they control water quality as well as primary productivity.
We do large scale, or we call it utility scale solar, so our projects will typically provide enough energy for 50,000 households.
My favorite Stanford experiences probably came as a result of being part of the sophomore seminar at the Hopkins Marine Station, both in terms of sort of expanding my idea of what earth sciences could be about, but also showing me some of the stuff that I like to do and didn't like to do.
Getting to be in the field was really probably the best thing about being at Stanford. I spent almost 8 months over 3 years working on the Big Island of Hawaii, setting up and running an eco-hydrology project.
I started working for the County of San Mateo in their environmental planning department. And I was lucky in that my senior year I'd taken enough classes already that I had some extra time, and I was able to work 15 or 20 hours a week there doing noise studies where developments were proposed, and we were revising the comprehensive plan, and so I learned all about housing studies and traffic studies and all kinds of things that were actually, they were doing real work.
When I was an undergraduate at Stanford, I began working at the U.S. Geological Survey as a part-time technician. I continued to do that for a year. Then I went to graduate school, and following graduate school, I went directly into an academic position.
I worked for the Natural Resources Defense Council for about 4 years in between undergrad and grad school, which is a nonprofit environmental organization, and that's the best choice that I ever made. That's really how I ended up coming around to where I am now to do research.
I certainly know that it's tempting when you're on the farm to go, oh, I'm going to go into consulting, or I'm going to go into Silicon Valley or something like that, but my career path took a pretty distinctly non-traditional route, and I still ended up in a job that I really like in the field that I studied.
In my current position, I have had 4 different jobs.
I've done a lot of environmental stuff over time, but I've never regretted my choice. I mean, I think it worked out really well for me.
Even though you spend 4 years in school learning a certain trade, in reality, the next 40 or 50 years of your career, you'll constantly be learning.